Okay. So I also want to introduce myself. My name is Nancy Arelli, and I am with Community Living Advocates. Just a couple of things that I'd like to throw out there for you guys. We are doing our coffee nuts every Thursday morning at 9:30, and we would love for you to join us. And we're also doing a caregiving support group on Thursday afternoon at 2 p.m. That's free for anyone who's helping care for an older loved one. So with that, I would love to go ahead and get started with our speakers. And we are going to start with Rachel Webb with Upstate Geriatrics Department.
Hi, everybody. I just wanted to first start off by saying I have my 5-year-old here, if you guys hadn't noticed. So just bear with me and we'll see how it goes. As Nancy said, I am one of the social workers with Upstate Geriatrics. We are primarily a medical-based department at Upstate, and what that means is that even though I'm a social worker, people come to us primarily for the medical portion of it. So we review notes from patients' primary care doctors, cardiologists, neurologists. We look at medications, blood work, imaging. We try to take a look at the person as a whole and try to see if we have any recommendations, any suggestions, any changes that we think would benefit them as they age. I always try to tell patients that the way that we're different from our primary care is that, you know, you see your primary care, and if they can't handle it or they need a more specialized, they go to a cardiologist, you know. If they need help with them as they age, they come to us as a geriatrician. We know and we're experts on the aging person and anything medical that needs to happen. A lot of times we find that people are on medications that make them unsteady on their feet and therefore at a fall risk at home. So just something as simple as a medication change can therefore make them, you know, stay in their homes longer. We get most of our referrals from primary care doctors' offices. We also get them from community people like yourselves. We get them from family members that just know of us or have Googled us. Any way that we can get them, we ask if it's possible to have the family or the patient, mostly the family, give us a call to set it up. So that way, it's not just a... Yeah.
And we get the tape.
Okay. So,
And we keep all the groceries.
yes. So what we would do is, like I said, we'd have the family call us. That way we can get to know them. We can talk to them about what is going on. You know, we don't want a simple referral coming over from somebody else, and it's a little bit impersonal. So we try to make it personal by talking to the patient. And a lot of times, since Karen, my colleague, and I, we both do all the intakes, a lot of times support is given even on that first phone call. So a lot of times with that first patient packet, we're sending information on some of your agencies and caregiving support and everything. So that's again why we try to have the families call us to set up that appointment. When they come in, what happens is that the patient will get a cognitive-based question and answer assessment. Depending on the provider, depends on which one it is. Usually it's either the MMSE or the MOCA. While that's happening, one of the biggest parts that I like about our office is that allows the family to talk to the provider alone. You know, a lot of times the family is uncomfortable, a little bit hesitant about talking freely and honestly and openly in front of their loved one. And this allows that to happen. And then the provider will also go and talk to the patient by themselves, see what they're like unsupported, see what they're like, see if they have any questions. Sometimes we get those that have mild cognitive impairment and have their own set of questions. Not only do we specify with dementia and memory loss and Alzheimer's. We also just do geriatric wellness assessments. You know, we get a lot of folks that don't have any memory issues, but just don't really feel like they're at the best point health-wise, and just need a little bit of review and tweaks to make sure that they're aging the best that they can. Right now, right now we have a lot of new providers. We have a lot of new providers, and so right now we're able to get people in. I'm saying between 4 and 6 weeks. I'm still kind of finishing up with the wait list that we've had from all the COVID craziness. But I think that once we kind of get through those, we should be able to get people in a lot quicker than we have in the past. So I'm really thankful for that. Most of our providers are physicians. We also have some nurse practitioners, and we're gonna have a PA soon as well. Whoever the patient is with the first appointment, that's who they stick with. So I like it because it has a continuity to it. You know, we don't want people switching doctors all the time, and when they can't really remember anyways. And with a family, they get that trust and that communication with one of the providers. I always tell folks we are a very collaborative office. So if some people really want to see a doctor, but there isn't any available, our NPs are fantastic. And if they need any support, they always ask the doctors and they talk about it and stuff like that. So if anybody, you know, needs to be seen at our office, any of our providers are just great. I think that was it. But I mean, us as social workers, like I said, the medical portion of it is all that. But then Karen and I, we connect our patients with you guys. We provide a lot of referrals. Karen and I provide a lot of therapeutic support and supportive listening on the phone and in the appointments. But really, you guys are amazing people to refer to. So you guys are just awesome. So we really trust that every one of you guys will support our patients. So the knowing of all of you is just really important for us, for Karen and I. So I think that was it, actually.
That was absolutely great. Thank you.
Yeah.
I had a couple of questions to start us off. How do people get in touch with you, and what counties do you cover?
So we cover 15 counties. We cover all the way up to Lewis County and all the way down to Broome County. It's kind of big swath. How you get a hold of us is you call the new patient line, which I can put in the chat box if you want. That is how I usually have folks like yourselves call us and new patients call us, because that's a direct line to Karen or I. Whereas if you go to any of the other phone numbers in the office, it just gets all jammed up. So that's usually the way that you get a hold of us.
Anyone else have some questions?
I do, Rachel. It's Becky. I was just wondering, are all the physicians now doing in-office visits, or are some still doing the telemedicine visits?
Good question. So right now, I always tell people it's very fluid and it can change, but as of right now, all of our new patient appointments, we really try very hard to have them in the office. We have one provider that's doing telemedicine, but she doesn't have that many appointments during the month. But like I said, primarily it's in the office. A lot of our follow-ups, once we get established and create a connection, we really try to have those follow-ups be telemedicine. But because we're just establishing that, we do try to have it be in person if at all possible. Oh, and we're having only one person come in with them. So usually before it was 4 5 people. Whoever wanted to come, the more the merrier. But right now we are only allowing 1 person to come.
I did have a quick question. Are you planning to keep the telehealth option once COVID is kind of under control, or are you planning to have that be a permanent part of your model, or will you go back to in-office only? Do you know?
Not the person that makes that decision, but I have heard. I have heard that our boss, Dr. Bragman, had said that it's here to stay in some way, shape, or form. You know, because of the work that we do and how we do it, I think our providers would love to have it be all in office. That would just be fantastic. But yeah, it's here to stay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got a question for you, Rachel. My mother has vascular dementia. She's 85. A reoccurring problem I always run into is whenever we go to doctor's appointments, the nurse practitioner, the doctor look at her and talk to her as if she knows what's going on. And I'm always passing notes or, you know, writing something on the notepad of my iPhone. Any tips as to how I could get a better response with physicians and nurse practitioners around that?
The way that I usually suggest to folks that are nervous about that, at least at our office, is I always tell them to send something in to the provider ahead of time. That way they can know prior to the visit the issues that you're having, the concerns that you have, so they're more knowledgeable and aware going into the visit, so they know what to look out for. Maybe it's asking different questions and keeping.
Oh, they're knowledgeable about it. It just seems that I have to repeat it as many times as everything else.
Yeah.
It's documented in the records, and yet every single visit, it's like, oh, this is brand new all over again.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's a difficult question. I'm just looking for ideas.
No, and it's definitely difficult in the way that it's different at our office than other places. You know, I think that is such a common theme in folks that call our office. They're looking for our office to be that place that listens and provides that communication that's lacking in other offices. And sometimes I tell folks, just come and see us. You know, I can't make other offices, you know, provide that type of communication, but at least I know within our office, we're going to listen to you guys. So I don't know if I have a great answer for that other than coming to see us.
Okay, well, if someone has a question, we'll hopefully have more time for questions at the end, but thank you so much, Rachel. I thought that
Of
was
course, thanks guys.
all right. Up next, we have Sarah Steinbrunner. She's with Verbology, and we would love to hear from you.
Hello. Was it before I introduce myself? I just want to say, thank you for all that you guys do. I mean, I know, 2020 for your industry was no small task. And so just want to shout out an appreciation for someone too with, it's close to my heart. I've had a lot of my family in, either outpatient care. I had my, my grandfather in hospice. I've had family in those care facilities, and they had the most amazing care throughout 2020. So before I introduce myself, it is close to my heart. I do want to say thank you to all of you, especially for having me. I do have a presentation for you guys, so I'll kind of explain, who I am, who we are. So I will get into that, share my screen. There we go. Oh, and I'm going to move myself over there. Okay, so like she said, I am Sarah Steinbrunner. I am with Vervology, and we are a digital strategy, marketing, website and hosting, social media, content development. We're really a one-stop shop for anyone who is trying to expand that online presence And so if you have any questions about it, if you have, just that curiosity, hopefully this answers your questions, but I'll answer any questions you have towards the end as well. So why Verbology? Almost like why do you guys do what you do? With you guys, it's all about patient care. It's all about it's passion. It's helping people, developing that community. And so what we're here to do is do the same thing. We're all about helping small businesses achieve, like you said, some of you have open spaces, some of you are trying to reach more, some of you have job openings that are trying to, fill. Our job is to help you get that out as much as possible, or, in some ways we can teach you how to develop that content to be impactful to help you reach that yourself as well. We do provide that. And there's a little bit more elaboration. So we do the digital strategy and organic marketing. We don't do those paid ads. We are all about organic marketing, which is getting the word out naturally through, getting followers, through posting impactful content. It's not about just, spending the most money. It's creating impactful posts to get the most presence out of what you're doing. And so digital strategy, it's the why, the what, the where behind everything you're doing online. It's, where you start, let's say you've launched your website already, and that's great. And so then it's, okay, well now what? Some people, they go to someone and they create their website and they say, here you go. And that's, that's kind of, where do you go from there? And that's kind of what we offer, is that we offer that next step, that next day, where, what about security for my website? How do I know that my information is secured? How do I know that content is, my contact information is secure? Who's going to maintain my website? Who's going to keep it updated? So that's something that we take care of. Like I mentioned, the organic, it's something that I can't talk. It's a strategy that generates traffic for your business naturally. It's not that paid advertisement, but it is something that is measurable, and it's absolutely something that is big right now. With COVID, the whole world went digital. It seemed like almost overnight. So being able to have that digital strategy, being able to have that organic instead of having to pay for it, is also a definite bonus. That website management, we handle everything. We can design your website, we host your website, we guarantee the security of it, make sure that it's not being hacked, make sure that no one's trying to get into it, steal your information. We make sure that it's making a significant and measurable impact online. You might have a website that's very similar to somebody else's. You have all these templates out there right now that your website looks just like someone else's. We make sure that everyone knows you for you, that you stand out above everybody else. And then social media. Social media is absolutely one of the best ways to promote yourself, and people can do it themselves, but some people need a little guidance about what to post that's impactful. Are you posting content that is getting you towards the goals that you're reaching? If you do have those openings, is the content that you're posting helping fill those openings? Is it helping, get those job postings out there? Or is it just kind of going out into the abyss? It's not really getting that attention. One thing that we have is our team, we focus on developing that content that is impactful. It's not just, let's make 20 posts a day and, it's not about amount, it's not about quantity, it's about quality. So that's definitely something that we help with. And then creative services, some people need it, some people don't. Some people already have an amazing, their branding is already on par. They just need help with the other things. Not everyone needs every single piece of these aspects. Some people might need some people, might need a few, but creative services is for the brand. And so, how important is your website? Is very important. So your website, it advertises for you even when you're sleeping. Your workday might be 8 to 5, but your website is 24/7. Someone can look at it at 1 a.m. Someone can look at it at 5 a.m. No matter what time, your website's always working for you. And so it helps bring in those new customers. It helps the credibility. It helps if your website is absolutely well designed, it's clean, it's organized, someone is going to trust it more than one that is kind of all over the place, or, it looks like it was made in 1992. We've all seen them. And then these are just some statistics about the reality of some, websites where 80% of customers are more likely to engage if you have a good website. 75% of users admit to making some judgments on the credibility. So if your website did look like it was made in 1992, they might not want to trust their Uncle Joe in your services. If they can trust, wow, that website looks amazing, they look high quality, I'm going to make an appointment and we're going to set up a meeting to talk with them. Or, yeesh, I don't know about that one. It depends on that. And that impression that people make with the credibility on a website only happens in 0.5 seconds, so 50 milliseconds. It's, did your website take too long to load? Is something broken? Am I looking on it on my mobile phone and it's not working? Those definitely impact it. How much is your website worth? We try to break it down in terms of, same thing, some statistics where it could be hurting you. So if you have a poor web design, my light's going nuts. If you have that poor web design, 80% of people are unlikely to return. Maybe they're Googling somewhere for their aunt, their father, their brother, and they're looking it up and they see your website come up and they click it. And like I said, it's not working on mobile. They didn't like the design. They're probably not going to return. And that's not good. Especially, you might have the most beautiful facility on the planet, but this either subpar or okay facility might have a better website and they're more likely to get the person in the door. You want to advertise, we are the best ones, no matter what. You want to present that in your facility and online. And so I won't bore you with the other ones, but a lot of statistics. And so a little bit more statistics is that 94% of those first impressions are just formed on the website themselves, the design, the look, the feel. That's the first impression before their foot's even in the door. And of those impressions, of all the general public, 97% of people look online first. So if those 97 people are looking online and 94% of those people don't like your website, you're already hurting. If they like your website, you're getting more traffic, you're getting more testimonials, you're getting more of everything. And then when we're talking about price on the website, we kind of compare it to, what's maybe the lease or the rent of your building versus your presence online versus your spot online. If you're considering how much you're spending on, your lease or your building space or your overhead, if you think about your website as even a bigger encompassing presence, your building has a physical location, it's in one spot, or, you might have multiple. Your website is around the world. It has such a big footprint as compared to a location that, when you compare your rent to what you're spending online, you want to invest about what you would expect in rent. Not price wise, but it's the investment in yourself. If you're investing in that beautiful building and that beautiful, utilities or amenities, you want to do the same for your website. You want to be able to present the best version of yourself as much as you do in your physical location. And then one thing I get all the time is that, when you have things like Squarespace, Wix, GoDaddy, all these things, is everyone on the planet can give you a quote. I can give you a quote. GoDaddy can give you a quote. But the problem with quotes is they're not always true. Abraham Lincoln did not say this quote. But online, anything can be true. So a lot of times, you'll have hidden fees, you'll have, a promotional price where, I always blame internet companies, cable companies, all these things where it's, oh yeah, you'll pay this price for your first year, but next year you're going to pay double and then you're going to pay extra this, extra that. That's not something we do. When we talk to you about a proposal or we talk to you about a quote, that price is the price in depth forever. We're not about, promotional anything. It's just, we discuss it. We discuss what people are comfortable with. We discuss budgets ahead of time, way ahead of time, that we work with what people need. It's not something that we don't have these package prices of, $30 a month for this, or, per page this. We talk to companies individually. You'll talk to me. It's always, I'm the main contact for those initial questions. I'll sit down with you and I'll say, what do you need? Some not, one size does not fit all kind of thing. I'll talk to each business, you know, do you need social media help? You know, we can help with that. Some people are doing great on social media, they need more website help. So the proposal that I create for you is based entirely on an individual basis and what your needs are. It's not just, I don't fit all of these into one spot and be like, okay, you know, these next 20 people are going to get charged this much. This promotional price is going to be for this many months. Nope, it's all individual. And then these are some testimonials. We've had some amazing people work with us in the past. Jono, you'll see his name a little bit here. He is our owner. He is amazing. We've worked with Springside Inn, so we do have a little bit of hospitality experience. We work with some bakeries. We have worked with some HR. We have worked with restaurants. We've worked all across the board. We are not afraid to any industry. We work with you and we get everything you need. And then this is our contact. This information on the right-hand side is the general information. I did add my specific information in the chat. I am sarah@vervology.com, and I am here to answer any questions. I have a calendar link I can send anybody if they wanted to do an individual meeting or, you know, set up a proposal, anything you need. And if it's a question I can't answer, I can always reach out and get you that answer. So I'm sorry that was long.
No, that was great. Thank you. I appreciate understanding all the different aspects of what you provide, but I was curious, what have you seen that has been really resonating with people in social media? Because I believe, I don't want to speak for everybody, but I would assume that our market, the market that we're trying to get are people 45 and over. So it'd be very helpful to know, you know, what is resonating with that market, where to find them online, you know, more of the digital marketing beyond your website.
With that, I would say there's just a lot of networking. I know with that age group, you know, that's primarily still what's on Facebook. You know, sometimes with social media, people expand like way too much. You know, they're on Instagram, they're on Twitter, they're on LinkedIn, they're on this, they're on that. With that age group, definitely, I would say LinkedIn and Facebook are the primary ones. And with that, you know, being able to maybe, you know, stream something or be able to, like you said, sometimes you can only have one person in the room, which makes sense. I mean, you know, we're still in the middle of the pandemic, but, you know, maybe set up a streaming service or like a way to set up FaceTime for them, or maybe tips and tricks on certain tech things, you know, a daily tip or just something so that they can get a little bit more tech savvy, and it puts a little bit more trust that you guys are tech savvy. Because if someone knows how to demonstrate their own, I would say, digital literacy, people are more likely to respond to it. They're like, they know what they're doing. I'm gonna go to them because they know it all, kind of thing.
Thank you. Do you feel like Pinterest is still a big, still big in this space?
Pinterest is really good for mood boards. I would say it's good for ideas. For marketing, I wouldn't say as much, unless you want to like put pictures of your, what's it called? I'm trying to figure the word, of your space, of your building. Because in that way, you know, people can pin, like, you know, what they like about it, what they look. But I would say Pinterest is more of like a imaginative kind of inspiration platform. I love Pinterest though. It's my wedding boards. And if anyone also has, you know, some questions that they think of later, you know, feel free to email me with anything. Like I said, if I can't answer it, because some questions go really into, you know, the front end or the back end of the techie stuff, I can always get those answered by our team. And, you know, it's not just me. We have Jono, who's the owner, who's amazing. There's me. I do all kinds of marketing and business development. We have Avril, who is amazing. She does all of our content. So if we're working with you on social media, she's the one who's going to be working with you to, you know, get that content to post. She's a great writer. We have Ben and Alex. They are the best tech guys that I know. They are more tech savvy than me. And they would be the ones you'd work with, you know, on your website design. And then we have one more person joining us. He's going to be Kevin, and he's going to be doing what I'm doing too. We're going to be 2 of us. So we have a great team.
That's wonderful. Now, if you make websites for people, do you ever show them how to maintain it themselves?
That's a tricky one, because I know that they have the ability for certain things they can almost like submit a ticket, and if they want certain updates, we can do it for them really quick. Usually we try to refrain, just, websites are broken so easy. If the wrong thing gets inputted, is that the word? But usually we have like a ticket system. So if someone needed an update, we're really fast, if they send that, and we can do it within the day, sometimes within the hour, depending on the urgency of what is needed, we can work around it.
Perfect, thank you.
Lee, did you have a question?
Yeah, it was along that line. What's the platform that you use? Do you use WordPress?
We do use WordPress. We do have our own hosting space though. So when we design it, we do host it on our own platform. It's not a third party. It's completely in-house by us, where we control it. Everything we make is through us. There's no, weird third party end of anything.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Quick question, Sarah. It's probably case by case scenario, but do you have like pricing options or like what a starting rate looks like for some basic type of services?
Mm-hmm. I would say the basic kind of services, and like I said, this is all subject to change on an individual basis. Generally, it might be $100, for the hosting, and then that'd be like for the month. But production is so different, where you might need 1 landing page, you might need 5 pages, you might need certain functionalities of a calendar or an appointment book, e-commerce, all of those things go into that production. But the one thing that is kind of a somewhat standard is that $100 a month hosting that takes care of the maintenance, the security, updates. It takes care of any, we don't charge per update. I've definitely heard of that before, where if someone's hosting your website, it's like, $5, $10 per update kind of thing. That's not what we do. It's that monthly fee covers anything and everything that you'd want us to do to your website within that month.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And we do work well with, like, if someone wants to do a payment plan, if they wanted to do, the production all at once and just pay for the hosting month by month, if they wanted to stretch that production across, that time across that 12 months, 24, whatever they wanted to do to make that fee feasible for them, we are really good at working. If someone says, I only have this kind of budget per month, we can work with a payment plan to get anything that they need to make it work for them. Our goal is to help small businesses. We're not here to bankrupt you either. We're here to help you succeed.
Sarah, do you have any online like 101s for digital media?
I do. Actually, I will add a link. We have, oops, I'm still in here. We have a newsletter that we have on our website. I'll add the link to that. And we do have a bunch of tips and tricks. We have some advice. It's almost like a blog, and Avril, who I mentioned, she's a great writer. She's the one who will manage that content. Let's see, join our mailing list into Zoom. There we go. So there, we have our LinkedIn as well. We do have our Facebook. We post a lot of tips and tricks, a lot of articles there, but our newsletter is definitely where we kind of consolidate all of those, so you don't have to go to each and every platform. If you wanted to get them all at once, newsletter's the place to go.
Wonderful. Does anyone have any other things they'd like to ask, or anything you might have forgot to mention earlier, or any events that are coming up for anybody?
Statewide is going to have a couple of teach-ins coming up. Get you the information. We generally have a teach-in once a month. They're free. They're on the web, so anybody can come in. If there's a client that you have that thinks it might be useful or something you would like to do, we're always going to have them up there right on our website. So January 26th, we're going to have one, how to appeal a hospital or nursing home discharge or complaint, which is going to be from Levanta, from the New York State one. And that's the 26th from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. And you can register right on the website. And then we're going to have one in February. I don't have all the details on that one yet, but that is how to help seniors with the robocalls that they're getting. And that's going to be February 23rd at 10 a.m. And that's going to be helping seniors avoid robocall scams and scams affecting their healthcare finances. So we've seen a lot of that with COVID. It was always here, but COVID has really had an increase, unfortunately. We'll send you a new card, just give us your number, you know, because of COVID, we're going to give you free stuff. So that's been coming up a lot. So they've been getting, like, the robocalls are just worse all the time. So we're going to have that teaching in February.
All right, well, I guess that's good for today. Sarah, thank you again so much for coming and telling us all about Verbology and what you have to offer. We appreciate it, telling us what's going on with digital marketing and seniors.
Thank you so much for having me.
And Rachel, thank you too for coming on and telling us about the Geriatrics Department at Upstate. Congratulations on becoming a department.
Thank you.
I have another question for you. Where are you located?
Yeah, so we're at 550 Harrison. So we're not at the hospital, which really makes people feel much better. It's like this low one-level building on the other side of 81 from the hospital. And it has parking right outside. So, yay.
Okay, great. Well, I want to thank everyone for coming, and hopefully you'll come again next month or maybe for a coffee nut. And if you have anything you want to share, please send it to me. Sarah and Rachel, if you have any flyers you'd like to, you know, distribute, to send it to me and I'll send them out to everybody. And with that, I guess we'll say thank you.
Thank you.
See you next time.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.